Chris, what is our first main topic today?
Our first topic is from Matin. Hey, John, I was really heartbroken when I read a post by Sylvester Stallone that he has no ownership in the Rocky franchise, but also that he has nothing of the franchise to pass down to his kids. He's calling for Irwin Winkler to give his part of the franchise that he can pass down. What do you guys think of the situation? Thanks, and bring on the filthy.
All right, thanks a lot for sending that in. And I remember it was with a little bit of shock a while ago that Variety had run an interview with Stallone, and this is going back a ways, and Stallone revealed that he said that he has zero ownership of the Rocky franchise. And I remember being surprised by that when I read it. I'll be honest with you, Rob, this is one of those situations where I feel a little conflicted and a little torn. Because on the one hand, what we as fans want to do is like, how dare they? They should give Rocky to Stallone. I mean, he is Rocky, and he is Rocky. And the part of me thinks that too, right? On the other hand, I think he has made so much money on the Rocky franchise that he, his children, his children's children, and his children, I mean, he's made generational wealth.
Oh, yeah.
That he can pass on to his family forever, right? And he, what do you always say? It's not about what you deserve.
It's what you negotiate.
It's what you negotiate. And if he didn't negotiate that and he accepted money in lieu of ownership or whatever, I mean, again, I'm torn because part of me really feels like, well, he is Rocky. The other half of me feels like you made generational wealth and you signed the deals you signed. So I'm a little bit torn. This is what Sylvester Stallone wrote. This comes to us from his own social media where he wrote this. Sorry, did I get the right one here? Oh, yeah. He says, also, says Stallone, after Irwin, that is the producer who does control all the Rocky franchise. After Irwin controlling Rocky for over 47 years and now Creed, I really would like have at least a little of what's left of my rights back before passing it on to only your children. I believe that would be a fair gesture from this 93-year-old gentleman. This is a painful subject that eats at my soul because I wanted to leave something of Rocky for my children. And that again comes to us from Sylvester Stallone. And again, I am torn. It's not like Sylvester Stallone, who conceived of, wrote, and starred in the original Rocky. It's not like he got gypped and he's penniless and he only made, like what we find out some comic book creators got $5,000. Thank you for creating that character that we just made $100 billion on. Stallone has made unspeakable wealth over the years on this, plenty to pass down to his kids. But at the same time, he conceived of, wrote, whatever. I am torn, especially when you look at the details of the agreement. It's like nobody at any, it appears to me that nobody at any stage along the way did somebody wrong Stallone. Like it never looked like he got duped or he got tricked. Like
Nope.
This is just the way it worked out. So part of me feels like, yeah, the Stallone estate should stand to benefit from the iconic legacy of Rocky that Sylvester built. On the other hand, he did make a hell of a lot of money and has stuff to pass down to his kids and the deals that were made. And I mean, I don't know. We want to take a moment and thank the sponsor of today's video, Storyblocks. Guys, I have been an enthusiastic fan and user of Storyblocks for years. I go to them whenever I'm in need of content creation assets like royalty-free music, video clips, or templates for my creative projects, ranging anywhere from little editorial videos to my very own full-feature documentary. Storyblocks helps you bring your stories, videos, and projects to life without sacrifices due to time, budget, or access to resources. They have over 1 million different story assets ranging from stock videos, audio and music, an in-browser video editor, and they feature pre-designed templates, animations, and outros. Storyblocks uses an affordable subscription model, and their unlimited access plans offers, well, unlimited video and audio downloads rather than a costly pay-per-clip model. With Storyblocks, you'll be able to create more content and, more importantly, better content, all while using a subscription plan that fits your budget, utilizing unlimited downloads of demand-driven and diverse content. So if you're interested in upping your content creation game, head over to www.storyblocks.com/Campea and get started today. That's www.storyblocks.com/Campea. Rob, you hear about this. This is a tricky one that comes up a lot. How do you see this one?
Well, I can't. First of all, he did post a picture of Irwin Winkler that he had drawn with a serpent coming out of his mouth.
With a knife.
Oh, and it was a knife, and he's surrounded by a serpent.
A serpent,
yeah.
yes.
And I looked at that and I thought to myself, okay, let's go back to 1975 or whenever when he was trying to get this movie made. Nobody wanted to make it. Nobody wanted to make it with him in the lead role because he was an unknown. He'd been in like Death Race 2000 and soft porn like the Italian Stallion.
This Victory, the soccer film he did.
That came out later.
It did come out later.
Came out,
okay, I was
going
to ask you that. Okay.
Yeah, because he made After Rock. But the thing about so he creates this thing. He gets this. It turned him into an international star overnight. The movie won Best Picture at the Academy Awards, and after that, to make a Rocky 2, a Rocky 3, they had to put a Brinks truck up to him. It's like you pointed out, he's made tons of money. Now, the thing is, when you are starting out, what if Rocky had failed? You never would have heard about him again. But still, Stallone made a deal with the one man, well, it was Irwin Winkler and Robert Chardoff, who believed in him.
And was willing to put the money up for it.
We put the money up for it. That's it. That's the end of the story. Because it doesn't matter what happens afterwards. You have to protect yourself, sure. But I read today that he got paid $10 million as a producer, star, and writer on Creed. Plus, he probably has. So
I think he did for both films.
Yeah, both films. He's not in Creed 3, but he has a producer credit, a fee. Where's the problem? Like, the thing is, when you go to a financier and you sell your idea and you get to make it, or let's say, you buy a piece of art. And the artist sells you a piece of art. You're a patron of his. The artist is unknown. That artist explodes, and you're able to sell his piece of artwork at 100 times what you bought it for. Are you obligated to then go back to the artist and go, "Hey, man, I made like $10 million on your art. Here's $2 million just because I made a lot of money."
It would be a very nice gesture.
Yeah, it would be a nice gesture, but that isn't business. And this ain't show friends, as Bob Sugar said. It's show business. And I think, look, we all love Stallone. But he's made a ton of money. I'll tell you something. It makes me hark back to Roland Emmerich and Dean Devlin, who made Stargate. Stargate was turned into how many TV shows by MGM?
24.
They have no rights. The creator of the Stargate franchise, well, both of them, Roland Emmerich and Dean Devlin, have no rights to any of the TV shows. Because when they got their distribution deal, they didn't have a deal for spinoffs or anything like that. And there was like 10 years of Stargate SG-1. There's a lot of money that was made, and they got nothing. And they created that franchise. Hollywood's a tough business, man, but Stallone was lucky in that you made how many Rocky movies, and each one you got paid more and more and more and more and more money. I mean, hell, he got his brother Frank doing music in Rocky IV. I mean, this is a family franchise where everybody made a shit ton of money. Not to mention merchandising. I don't know if he had likeness approval. I don't know what, but like you pointed out, John, he has got to have made generational wealth. When you say we're talking over somewhere between, I would imagine somewhere between $100 million to $1 billion over the last 40.
That is a wide gap.
Yeah, it's a wide. It is. I mean, I have
between $5 and $70 billion.
I have no idea. But if you think about the fact that, but if you invest that money well, so he gets $10 million for Creed and $10 million for Creed 2. That's $20 million that he made, and Rocky came out in what, 76? So you're talking 45 years of Rocky. There's a lot of money, and if you take that money, and he's not a stupid man. He's a businessman.
He's brilliant,
and he's probably invested that money. I mean, Planet Hollywood, he was investor in that.
He's worth $400 million.
He's worth. They say, yeah, $400 million, which I actually would have thought it might have even been
but
bigger.
What about his children?
Well, I mean, there's 4 of them, so it's only $100 million.
Only $100 million each.
4 of them. I mean, come on.
Those poor babies.
Chris, you hear about this? What do you think?
I don't understand what he wants to pass down to them other than money, and he has that. Like, did he want them to be able to write the next Rocky 5000? Like, what is the thing he wanted from this?
That was a nice Spaceballs reference there.
Yep.
I appreciate that very much.
Game recognized game. I just don't understand the IP that he wants to pass down to them. Did he want them to take on the franchise, and then it's spin-offs of his kids, and they take on the reins of this, and they start writing things? Because it feels like that's not what they want. I think everyone here just wants the money, and I don't want to speak for anyone's wants or hopes and dreams, but it feels weird to go back and be like, man, this deal that I cut, I really regret it. and that person's a bad person for making that deal with me. This happens to actors all the time, right? There's a reason why a lot of times your agents will try to talk you into buyouts. So you'll do something and it's going to be a flat rate fee, but let's get that money all at once, right?
Yep.
And then the project goes well, and then you don't get any of those tasty back end points. You don't get residuals. You don't get things like that. This happens every day to actors, just not on this scale. So unfortunately, he made a deal that wasn't great for him in the long term, or as good as it could have
I
been.
don't know. I was going to say it worked out pretty well.
I mean, he's
for
got
him.
an ass load of money. Like, that is the scientific term. He has an ass load of money for his family.
And,
Just because you don't like it doesn't mean it's not fair.
and a whole career, Rambo. You know, it's not like he hasn't been making movies. He's in a new Tyler Sheridan series, Tulsa King.
Which I've heard. I haven't started watching it. I've heard good things
It's
about
supposed to be great.
Yeah, I'm like, he's not doing so
He's got
bad.
his action franchise with everyone. What is it? The Expendables?
The Expendables?
There
Now
we
listen,
go.
I will change my tune. Again, I'm torn, but I will change my tune if Stallone starts talking about. I'm a huge Stallone fan, but if Stallone starts talking about specific things that duped him out of his rights, or
For sure.
or they maneuvered and cheated him out of his rights, right? Like if we find that out, that's a different story altogether. But again, this isn't like a guy who created this character went on to make billions and he got a $5,000 check. So again, I'm saying I am torn.
Another thing, at any time, if he wanted to, he could have self-financed this franchise. He could have gone in and said to Robert Chardoff and Irwin Winkler, like, if we're going to make Rocky 3, why don't I put up the money?
But did he have that option, honestly?
I don't know if he did.
Probably not. Like if they own the rights to it, then they have first.
But then they wouldn't have, if they were self-financed their whole thing, they wouldn't, because it was MGM, I think. They could have controlled it. They could have taken the franchise to another distributor. They could have done all different kinds of things. But they didn't.
All right, guys, question is for you. Stallone is saying, I mean, I don't have any ownership in Rocky, and I would love to be able to pass that IP down to my family. That's, of course, understandable. But didn't he already get a lot to pass down to his family? I mean, I don't know. However you guys think about this situation, jump down to the comment section below and leave your thoughts there.